Hello, and thanks for joining the first edition of Journalist Hangout this week. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, Oyegun launches astonishing attack on Oshiomhole, says he runs APC like a tout. Governor Sanwo-Olu orders Lagos Badagry Road contractor back to site. And later on the show, massive shock as Anthony Joshua loses heavyweight titles to underdog Andy Ruiz Jr. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Gani Kayode Balogun. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us. Will there be end to the internal crisis within the governing All Progressive Congress? APC in Nigeria. This is a big question begging for answer as another crisis rocks the APC. There have been calls for the resignation of the national chairman, Adams Oshiomhole, over alleged mismanagement of party affairs. But 6 APC state chairmen in the South-South blamed the plot on a landmine left behind by Oshiomhole's predecessor, that's John Odige Oyegun. But the ISWA national chairman has absolved himself of any complicity in the predicament of the party, saying Oshiomhole should be blamed. Odige Oyegun, in a statement by his media aide, Roy Murphy, accused his successor of lacking capacity and deploying motor-park tout methods in leading the APC. Babajide, Oyegun has been quiet since he left office. And I read an interview last week by Oyegun, apparently comment that the federal government should not, dismiss former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Statements that Obasanjo is an elder statesman and everything. So 24 hours after, I saw this statement credited to the media aide of John Oyegun, saying Oshiomhole is running APC like motor park touts. And I looked at the heavy statements, and the statement went further at a point in time to say, Oshiomhole talks before he thinks. And the statement is so... Let me leave the rest to you. We discussed it earlier today.
You see, the Chief Oyegun will need to tell us how, in terms of running the APC, he can say that it's different. If we have problems with Oyegun's leadership, with Oshiomhole's leadership of the APC, I want to say that no matter his excesses, because we all know that Oshiomhole is not perfect. I've criticized him many times on this program, especially before the election, and some people were accusing me that what really is the problem, asking me what really was the problem. Oshiomhole is an upgrade on Baba Oyegun. In terms of leadership, remember we used to call Baba Oyegun the absentee national chairman because he simply was not there to provide leadership. His leadership of the APC was a rudderless one. APC, while Oyegun ran it, was like a she in distress at sea. A she in distress at sea will need the captain to calm things down, to provide leadership. But Oyegun refused to provide leadership. Under his leadership, APC, to even summon meetings was a big problem. As if summoning a meeting was an anathema. Oyegun couldn't even call meetings. APC members in the National Assembly were very adversarial, were acting more or less like the opposition. And we challenged him that in trying to bring about harmony between the executive and the legislature, that he should even summon a meeting of the APC caucus in the 2 chambers. He eventually did as we directed less than 2 weeks after we suggested it to him. All these things are there. because we are students of history. We are not like some Nigerians who have no sense of history. Baba Oyegun cannot suddenly, given the kind of leadership that he provided, I can say that Oshiomhole inherited a mess. He inherited a mess. And we also need to thank the star boy, our vice president, because without him, what happened in Zamfara will have happened to the APC across the country. He was the one who insisted and got the support of the president that there must be a national convention, and that they cannot afford to willy-nilly let the leadership of the party across board remain in office. Because the constitution is clear that you must hold electoral congresses.
Yes.
Oyegun and the people who are supporting him didn't want that to happen. The Erufais of this world, with little knowledge of our law, or just simply trying to take impunity to dizzying heights.
Even some senior advocates of Nigeria within the governor's
the
forum.
governor of Ondo State, don't go far, the governor of Ondo State is a lawyer now. He was one of those who didn't want us to have electoral congresses without thinking of the implication. So Oyegun's era is a better forgotten era. Nobody is saying that Oshiomhole has been perfect. No, I've criticized him repeatedly that he talks too much. We all know he talks too much. But he came at a time of crisis to steady the hands of the party. And nobody can deny the fact that he tried his best. If it was Oyegun that led the APC to battle in this election, APC would have been thoroughly defeated. If the PDP could give APC the problem that he gave APC in this last election, you can imagine with a rudderless leadership taking it to battle. You can predict what will have happened. So to sit there and be abusing Oshiomhole, if Baba Oyegun had led the APC well, there would have been no need for an Oshiomhole. And Oshiomhole would have been unnecessary. They would have left him to continue. They would have voted for him to continue. But because his poor leadership skills were preeminent, it became so necessary to replace him. Let's look at those states. The crisis under Baba Oyegun, at least 11 state chapters of the APC were in crisis. We can go back and play back some of the things that we said during that time, challenging him to intervene, challenging him to solve this problem. He refused. Perhaps because those problems were instigated by governors in their state, and he preferred to to work against the underdog. Whereas as a leader, the underdog must feel comfortable with you. Just the same way that the governors should feel comfortable with you. So this is it. He has no locus, as lawyers will say, to be abusing Oshiomhole in the way that he did. If people are to abuse Oshiomhole, he should leave it to the rest of us, not him.
GKB, looking at, they are both from Edo State, both former governors of Edo State.
So from South.
And the way Oshiomhole emerged, and it has always been a threat to Oyegun, because it's been a long time after Oshiomhole ended his tenure as the governor of Edo State that the speculation
was being touted.
Yes.
As a possible replacement.
As a possible replacement.
Yeah.
Now, looking at their relationship, there's no indication that these two people are from the same states. They're meant to be.
Even twins have different mannerisms. Doesn't necessarily mean they have to behave the same way. The challenge that APC had when Oyegun was chairman was basically that of trying very hard to please everybody. Remember, he could not even solve the mutiny at the National Assembly, which was the first test for his leadership after the elections, bringing the party into power. He dragged on his feet about this matter for a long time or it became impossible for the party to do anything about those impositors in office. But having said that, we have to realize the fact that Mr. Oyegun is of the belief that Nigerians tend to forget and romanticize the past whenever they are going through the pain of the present. It happens to all of us at a particular point in time. So there are some members of the party who I'm sure right now are telling the old man that if not for you, if you are still there, you will have won all the states. If you are still there, you will have done this, you will have done that. But the reality of APC today is that Oshiomhole tried as much as possible to ensure that they follow the rule of law as much as possible.
So, GKB, Babajide now, when you look at what is happening within the party now, the last general election, you know, we said it here some years back that APC might win the presidential election, but they will lose more states.
Yes.
If you remember.
Yeah.
That you predicted it particularly that they will lose more states. Under the watch of Adams Oshiomhole, APC has lost 7 states. Whether by court or during the election or by this litigation.
It was bound to happen. Oshiomhole couldn't solve all the problems. He couldn't solve all the problems. And those problems snowballed a little bit. And frankly, he tried his best, given the time that he had to lead the party to elections. He made mistakes. For example, I think he made mistakes in his handling of what happened in Benue. And I told him, by some of his comments, you know, like the irresponsible comments that Benue people were the ones killing themselves, you don't make such comments and expect the people to vote for your party. And that was why it was easy for me to predict that APC would lose Benue. You know, and the governor won by more than 100,000 votes. Ordinarily, it should not have been so. I warned him. I warned the senator from the state, the former godfather of the state,
Akume,
who has now been reduced to the back street.
Akume?
Yes, the back street of Benue politics. Akume, I warned. I said, if you turn against your people in this manner, they will teach you an exemplary lesson. And that's what happened. Some of his comments were, to say the least, irresponsible. But I'm telling you that things would have been worse. Things would have been a lot worse if it wasn't Oshiomhole that led the party to the last elections. Because he had to provide strong leadership. He had to rally the people. He had to unite the party. In terms of galvanizing party members, nobody can do it better than him. Maybe his man management skills are not good enough. Maybe, just maybe. But to galvanize people and rally the people around the party, mobilize the people, get the people to see that, yes, this is the party, this is their party, and they must work for the party. He does it better than anyone that I can see. And I've seen Oshiomhole at rallies. His performance at rallies, his oratory, because he's probably the best speaker in the APC. And that didn't start today. Oshiomhole, even at the first consultative forum of the APC in 2014 or so in Abuja, Oshiomhole wowed everyone with his oratory. He has that gift. He can galvanize people. But the party needed not just a galvanizer, but someone with extremely good persuasive skills. Because you are going into a battle and so many people were angry with the way they've been treated. So it will have taken a miracle, for example, in Adamawa to solve the problem that Oyegun and Bindo created. By the way, the other day, I was also Bindo apologizing for some of the things that they did in Adamawa State. But the APC sometimes feels that, oh, once someone is the governor, he has so much powers, don't try to hurt him. If you try to hurt him, the party will not lose, will lose the election. So in spite of not trying to hurt governors, in spite of trying to please governors, going over the odds to please governors, what happened in Bauchi and Adamawa? They still lost the election. So it galvanizes people, he speaks well, but maybe his persuasive skills. Those are he needs to work on his persuasive skills, and he needs to be told that, look, in dealing with certain people, you must bring yourself down. Humble yourself and talk to them. Don't talk to them don't talk down on people. Don't make them feel that this relationship between the chairman of the party and other people is a golfer-caddy relationship. Because it's not a golfer-caddy relationship. It's like a relationship between equals.
Aziz is calling us from River State. Thank you for joining us, Aziz.
Yeah.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
All right. I respected Babajide very well. Babajide, you spoke very well concerning Adam Oshiomhole and other party leadership.
No.
But I think Adam Oshiomhole happened to be a person that is so arrogant. Let me use it that way, because he always talks arrogant in other parties' issue. And then today, if the party members are come out to criticize him or to tell him that he talks like someone in the park, I think he deserves such. Because I remember what he has been saying when the Oyegun was a chairman of party. I remember he made mention that the unity of the party is collapsing when Oyegun is there. And today we look at the areas where he made a lot of errors in the party. So please, Adam Oshiomhole should aside. That is my contribution.
Thank you, Aziz, from River State. GKB, running the party like a motor park tout. I want to get that because I know Baba Oyegun does not talk anyhow. For him to come up with this press release, that means there might be kind of deep-seated animosity.
Of course. You have to face the reality that when Oyegun was about to leave office, there were a lot of people behind him who wanted the status quo to remain. They don't want to go for electoral offices. He has empowered the governor so much that at a party meeting, it was the governor that was giving the report instead of the party chiefs. You want to know how much he has ceded his powers to the governors at state level. But having said that, you must also understand that he is under the impression that he's brought in basically as a calming influence on a very rancorous party. What Oshiomhole came in to do was to put the fire out, basically that was set up by Oyegun. Don't forget that until a week to the elections, there are still nothing less than 50 cases in courts arising from the primaries in the APC, based basically on the fact that at the point when these primaries were to be held, governors were setting up parallel congresses, which led eventually to the loss of some states. So I do not expect them to be friends, because the man came and had to put out the fire created by Oyegun at that point in time. And that, to me, is the legacy that Oyegun wants to correct.
Jide, apparently there's a build-up to something. There's a grand plan,
Yes.
to ultimately remove Oshiomhole as the chairman of the party.
Yeah.
There has been this push. Although the state chapters, they are still, the chairmen are still, in support. They are still speaking with discordant tunes. But the bottom line is that the deputy vice chairman last week wrote a letter and they made that letter public, asking Oshiomhole to step aside. And Oyegun has just done his own. I think the tempo is getting louder and higher.
Yes,
for the removal of Oshiomhole.
yes, and that's why you will see that the statement from Baba Oyegun is kind of opportunistic. It's like you see your enemy in distress, and you want to try and worsen things for him. So he has chosen a time when some tendencies are trying to kick Oshiomhole out of office. He has chosen that time to try and make some noise, to try and muddle the waters. That's exactly what he's trying to do. There's no doubt about it that within the APC, there are some tendencies opposed to Oyegun's continuation, Oshiomhole's continuation in power as chairman of the party. But it's down to the chairman to provide the right kind of leadership. I said last week that this is the time for Oshiomhole to rally his troops. Rally his troops under his leadership. Show them that he's still the best for now for the party, and show everyone that, contrary to the opinion of Senator Shuaibu, that he is a leader who is ready to take the party to greater heights. He has to admit his mistakes where it is clear that he's made mistakes. That's the mark of a good leader. When you admit your mistake, it becomes clear to people that such mistakes were not deliberately made, and they will be ready to continue to support you. And he has to show greater interest in matters that unite the party. You know, yes, he's a strong man, no doubt about it, providing strong leadership. We have no doubt about that. He's done that and done it so well. And a lot of the underdogs in the party feel comfortable with him, because you can imagine, if not for the leadership of Oshiomhole, someone like that would never have become governor. Because the governors will simply have sat down to write a long list of their preferred candidates and sent to the national headquarters. But at least he made it clear that candidates of the party would only emerge either by consensus or through direct or indirect primaries, you know. So, which is what we have seen. At least position the party as a party that believes in the tenets of democracy, not simply Baba Sokwe or simply to go and choose people in a manner that will further polarize the party. He was trying to avoid that and ensure that the party was not fractured going into the election. So, in my view, he did his best. And he had made mistakes. He will readily, I'm sure, admit that he made mistakes. But no one can convince me that he is not done better than Oyegun during his time. Admittedly, they lost some states, but the crises that led to the loss of those states were created during Oyegun's time. At least people will recall that as far back as 2016, I had been talking about the crisis in Adamawa. I had been talking about the crisis in Bauchi as early as 2016. So they won, and I predicted before the election that APC will not win those states. So if it happened now, people should not be surprised, because APC didn't move fast enough to try to resolve those disputes.
GKB, the future of APC. A lot of people are saying that ahead of 2023, that APC might not be having it so good because of the tendencies within the party.
Well, politicians tend to be optimists, basically. Don't forget that by this time, 2015, PDP was dead and buried. This time, 2015, PDP was dead as a brand. But they got to a point they were trying to even change their name to something else, because they thought the name was toxic to Nigerians. So you never know. Politics is a very funny game. And the other dynamics will come in within the next 3 years that will determine the future of the party as it stands.
All right. Still to come, Governor Sanwo-Olu orders Lagos Badagry road contractor back to site. Stay with us. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this breather. Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, is an ever-bustling city. So whoever is elected to govern the states must be ready to put the hand on the plow right from the word go. Now, so it seemed for the new governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who appears to be hitting the ground running after signing an executive order on timely intervention on clearing of debt and the state of roads in Lagos. Governor Sanwo-Olu has been going round to see things during an on-the-spot inspection of the 10-lane Lagos-Badagry Expressway. The governor ordered the contractor handling the road project back to sites. While regretting that the project has been abandoned for 4 years, he assured residents that work will start there this week for the completion of the second phase from Maza to Okokomaiko. Jide, why did the last administration, 4 years, as in, just left that road? Because I'm aware of the hardship. There are some people that come from Badagry to go to Lagos Island, that work Lagos Island. Oh, true. Do you understand? And some people told me that they get to their homes 1:30, 2 a.m. in the morning, and they have to leave their home like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock to set out. That still, they can still keep a 9 o'clock appointment. But living in that axis, that it's been unbearable for those people living in that Lagos-Badagry Express Road.
I really find it difficult to explain why the government left that project. But you could also ask why the light rail project too has not been completed, because if the government, if the Ambode administration had shown so much energy in addressing those projects and giving attention to those projects, they would have been completed by now. I think that most governors, when they come into office, they want to focus on their own signature projects. You know, those are the projects that they believe will give them immortality, will give them their own name, will give them their identity. And no doubt, Ambode was trying to focus on his own projects that were generated by him.
I thought Lagos doesn't run like that.
No, well,
but they claimed that since 1999 there's a master plan, there's this, there's that.
Yes, but clearly that was how the former governor was thinking, in my view. Because I see no reason why that part of town should have been left that way. If you ever have to travel, or you are even going, even to Lasu, for example, if you do not go through other routes, you are going to really suffer. There are gullies almost as tall as yourself on that road. And so much armed robbery takes place. Once it's like 5 p.m., armed robbers capitalize on the traffic gridlock on that road to break people's windshields and take money and people's phones. So naturally, a government should have looked at that. But I don't want to criticize him before people start saying all sorts of nasty things, without remembering that we had always supported him. We had always supported him. Every major special edition of this journalist hangout, we've always supported him. The way the hangers on around him never did. That's a fact. Without expecting anything in return.
No, I never acknowledged.
Yes. So the truth is, he should have taken care of that project. He should have finished that project, because government is supposed to be a continuum. I want to see Babajide Sanwo-Olu continue with the projects that Ambode was not privileged to finish. Finish them with aplomb. He will be respected as a governor and as a decent human being if he goes ahead to do that. Government cannot be personalized. Yes, you want your own signature projects. It's no problem. He's done all that in Ikorodu now. I mean, what's it called? In Oshodi. With the massive...
The $70 million
massive terminal.
Terminal
yes. First of this is kind of this part of the world. That's good. But he shouldn't have left some projects, because in that way, it inflicted pain on the people, and a lot of the people using that road will find it difficult to forgive the governor for not taking care of that. Sanwo-Olu has said that Lagos is the gateway to the world economy for Nigeria. And because of that, Lagos must remain, continue to play its role as number one. I'm happy with the way he has started, because remember, on the day he was inaugurated, I said a smart city like Lagos deserves even a better refuse evacuation template. And yeah, now we've seen him moving in that direction. He's going to lose so soon. Nobody can tell me that that's the best that we can do. No. Because you go to some cities, you won't even know where their dump site. You won't know where it is. But we have a dump site in the heart of town, and everybody can see it in that massive ugliness. So we need, the government is a continuum, we need to get better. That's the beauty of Lagos. This transition from one good government to another. That's what makes Lagos tick, you know? So no governor, no one governor can do all the work in Lagos. Tinubu didn't do all the work. Fashola didn't do all the work, far from it. So Sanwo-Olu has come now, and we expect him to succeed. We expect him to succeed where his predecessors failed. So all we can do is to continue to encourage him, not just Badagry. The Pensinma project, you know, the project too is literally abandoned. He has to complete it. The beautiful roads, the beautiful bridge from Oshodi right up to the airport, international airport. I got a whiff of it the other day. That has to be completed, because it's my joy. Yeah. It's my joy
very
to
nice
see.
Now.
Yes,
very nice now.
Beautiful.
If you go around international airport now, beautiful.
Yeah, so he has to
be there for some time.
He has to complete it. No governor in its right senses should abandon a major project. That's how people can get to Togo, go to Ghana and the rest. So that's a very important road.
We are looking at how strategic that route.
Yeah.
A lot of landlords. I know somebody that works here in Ketu, and he has the property along Ijaniki.
Yeah.
But he dare not go during the week. He stays here Monday to Friday.
In fact, there is a place in Okoko that the gully will swallow a trailer, literally. And I can show you pictures if you want. Things like that bad. That means at that point in time, those coming from Badagry, that's where they're going to turn to take the outside road back to Okwebi. And that's the problem we face. I think Sanwo-Olu has started very well. He's going to show leadership in such a manner that this thing will work seamlessly. And that to me is key. Because like Jide said, governance is not a one-man show. It is a collective effort. And unless and until that road is done, Nigeria's image to our West African neighbors is terrible. Because whenever they come into Nigeria and they get to that point, they keep wondering, what do they mean by Giant of Africa? They cannot build a road that they've done in other countries 22 years ago. Other people, Cameroon has finished their own as far back as 2000. The Republic of Benin has done their own as far back as 2002. It's only the one passing through Nigeria that's still having this challenge. And it's also the only place where you get nothing less than 30 custom checkpoints. It has not done anywhere in West Africa where you come across so much security on such a bad road. We seem to enjoy the suffering of our people, to impose more on them. I do not pity those who live in that. It's terrible, I can tell you. If you are coming from Badagry, you cannot escape that place at Koko. It's not a road. It is a river.
Koko Michael now.
No, I'm talking about Koko itself. There's a big gully, because you know why you're coming from Badagry and you want to turn. I use the road built by when Aregbe was commissioner for works. They went back to Lasu Gates. Okay. Everybody must stand there. No, don't get to your number. Okay. There's a road before Lasu that you turn. And then your road you now take, and you come out at Igodo Road, just before the bridge. You cannot. Every time people will have to come down from buses. So the bus can manage to move and they can join it later. If it rains, forget it. So I'm very happy that someone is looking in that direction very early. Because unless somebody does that, no matter what he says, that will be the legacy.
Mr. Sanwo-Olu just signed the 2019 budget today. I saw it some minutes ago, and looking at the promises and those things he has done so far, I think, hopefully.
It's early days, but the good thing is that Lagos has a tradition of producing good leaders. Jakonde was the best governor of his generation. Fashola was the best of his generation. And Tinubu too was the best governor of his generation, because he even came up with ideas that other states have had to copy. Lasma,
Kai.
Even Loma, you know.
Other countries.
Even PSP.
Ghana had to come to Lagos
to learn from
to find out how Loma does refuse evacuation in a city this large, you know. So, and that's the legacy that Tinubu left, almost to the point that you can literally run Lagos like autopilot. So he has his work cut out for him. He knows he has to succeed. Otherwise, posterity will judge him harshly. Every governor has the resources, both human and natural, to succeed in a state like Lagos. And Sanwo-Olu, my namesake, has every reason to succeed, because the Babaji days, wherever you put them, they excel. So I'm confident that my namesake will excel.
Okay, we'll come and review that in the next 6 months.
You are on the latter note, both the governor and the deputy governor and the chief of staff are both on the light side. Okay. So there's no room for people like Gideon and myself in Lagos.
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, Chidi Ebere Izani will be joining us. Welcome.
Thank you.
Chidi Ebere.
Yeah. It's my second debut.
From our sport desk. Those who fail to learn from history, according to a British statement, that Winston Churchill are doomed to repeat it. A certain Nigeria, Samuel Okon-Peter, was the WC heavyweight champion of the world in March 2008. But he lasted just 7 months as the world champion before he was dethroned in October of the same year. Boxing greats like Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and Lennox Lewis lost their titles to less fancy opponents. Nigerian-born British heavyweight boxer Anthony Joshua, popularly called AJ, suffered the same fate on his US debut at the Madison Square Garden on Saturday, when he came up against an underdog, Andy Ruiz Jr. Joshua, undefeated in previous 22 fights, lost to the Mexican-American, kissing the canvas 4 times before being knocked out in the 7th round. He lost his 3 belts, that's the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF titles in the same bouts. Like some of his illustrious predecessors, will Joshua rise again? Chidebere?
Yes, it's boxing. Come on, it happens. It's sports and less fancied opponents, like you said. But the truth is, the courage from Joshua for me, you know, the walking, the first round, he didn't look right. He didn't look like he had the fight in his belly to you know, he just felt like it was one of those leisure things for him to do. He probably mentally he felt, I was just going to do this and then I'll walk away with my belt. But unfortunately for him, he came up against a man who has fought 34 times, won 33 fights, lost only 1. Unfortunately, he lost against Joseph Parker, who Joshua beat in his last fight. So I feel it was just a situation where you underestimate your opponent and then you get what you don't expect.
Julie, what is this? Joshua is going to the Madison Square Garden, and a lot of people, I remember most of his opponents have been saying that, oh, get out of your comfort zone, that's Britain, and go elsewhere, and let's see what, you know. So for the first time, he's making his debut in the United States, and look at the outcome.
Yes, I think that Joshua's performance needs to be thoroughly evaluated, thoroughly investigated. There are claims that he was actually knocked out during a sparring session, and that he actually began to have problems with his eye after that sparring session, and there's a cut even around his nose going into that fight. So in terms of his conditioning for that fight, I think his conditioning was suspect. I think he didn't bring his A game to the fight. He was clearly not at his best. And when you are not at his best, your best, you are likely to lose. It reminds me of what happened to Mike Tyson in 1990. Tyson was beating everyone. And then he had his fight in Japan with Buster Douglas. Everyone expected him to win. But Tyson didn't prepare thoroughly. On the eve of the fight, he went out with Naomi Campbell, spent about £200,000 on jewelry for the model, the world-class model.
Supermodel.
He was with Johnny Casey and the rest of them, just moving around, generally believing that whatever happens, he will beat Buster Douglas. But Buster Douglas knocked him down. It was strange to people to see Mike Tyson kiss the canvas. But at the end of the day, he got beaten. And from that point, everybody saw how to beat Tyson. That's why even when someone that you would think was inferior to him in terms of weight, Evander Holyfield fought Tyson, Tyson couldn't find a way to beat him. So I am also someone who believes that this guy will bounce back, that AJ will bounce back. So let's see how he responds to this adversity. It's common in boxing for people to lose in this manner, but if
you get back up.
He has to find a way to get back. Muhammad Ali lost his title 3 times. He was a three-time world champion. He was the 3-time world champion. You have to lose and then bounce back.
There is a bit of control, a situation that might be in Joshua's hands now. Now, there's a mandatory fighter for the WBO title who was already supposed to fight Joshua, or the fight was supposed to hold in September. No, it's not Dr. Wanda. He's a Ukrainian. His name is Alexander Usyk. Now, if Usyk goes to fight Ruiz and beats Ruiz, he goes with all the titles. Now, what happens to Joshua? Where does this leave him? So it's a lot of complications. That's why, yes, his conditioning might not have been right. There are a lot of things that went wrong. But I still feel they must have looked at him, the doctors must have looked at him before the fight. They must have weighed in and looked at their physical well-being. And if he was not in the best situation, they would have said something about it.
GKB, look at Andy Ruiz. Who the hell is this Andy Ruiz? I don't know. And look at his physique, look at... compare him to the six-pack AJ.
It's a good day for the flabbies in boxing. Basically, but remember, the man has lost only once. And people seem to forget that. They look at his physique and they forget that he has one of the best left in the business.
He has, and his hand speed is one of the best.
74 inches. He reaches very far. He's a very fast boxer.
So people look at his flabbiness and they don't look at the strength in his arms. I don't also forget that Americans have this tendency. Anybody who's not from the US, and you've not made your name in the Madison Square Garden, which is regarded as the temple of champions, also known as the tomb of pretenders. They don't see you as a champion. That to me is more the legacy that pains me as a Nigerian, more than the fact that he lost. Because that's the stadium, that's the arena of champions. The best in the world made their name at the Madison Square Garden. And to lose so woefully, to me, will be what the Americans will remember. He will bounce back, obviously, but this will be his legacy if care is not taken.
Chidibere kissed the canvas 4 times in 7 rounds. That's, to me, A no-no.
It's definitely a no-no. But what got me amazed was the fact that there was no reaction from him after the fight. I expected him to, probably like every other angry boxer who has just lost the title he's held for over 2 years. You know, there should be a venom coming from you, but he was all nice guy, good fight, which is, for me, I feel is a whole lot wrong in that mannerism. Yes, he's a nice guy, naturally, but there are certain things you should portray when you have lost a fight like that, and he did not. Kissing the canvas 4 times, he just showed how unprepared he was. He just showed how, you know, nonchalant he was going into that fight. I don't think he, in his wildest dream, thought Ruiz probably did not research his opponent.
Yeah, like his predecessors, Tyson, Muhammad Ali, all the others that lost to underdogs. It's the same pattern. They are looking towards the bigger picture.
Yes.
The big money.
He was already talking about other matches.
Other
matches, Tyson Fury and the rest of them. You know, which was basically what happened to Tyson. Tyson didn't expect a Buster Douglas to come and beat him, having beaten the Larry Holmes and the rest of them, you know, the biggest fighters of his generation, Trevor Babbitt. He had beaten all of them. And then for that guy to have come and beaten, that was not what the world expected. But it happens. It happens. And I believe that if he gets his rematch, the rematch is built for December. According to his manager, they will get the rematch in December. If he manages to win against Ruiz Jr. in December, then we could be looking at a trilogy, which will remind us of what happened between Redigbo and Linus Lewis. Because they had their own trilogy, which is regarded as the greatest trilogy in boxing history. Because these were 2 fighters who were equally matched. And Redigbo handed Evander Holyfield his first loss. I mean, Evander Holyfield his first loss in 1992. But he bounced back. He bounced back and defeated him in the rematch just about 11 months later. And then in 1995, Redigbo knocked him out. That was the only fight between both men that didn't last the distance. So I see what happened between Redigbo and Evander Holyfield happening between these 2 boxers. That is, if AJ manages to defeat him in December, then we should expect a 3rd fight, which will be good.
The likes of Deontay Wilder, the likes of
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury, I'm sure they are not going to be happy.
The business is not
yes, they wanted Joshua.
Yeah, everybody wanted to fight Joshua. He was a fairy tale, you know, lad who came from obscurity, you know, climbed up so fast and got to, you know, to where he was. They wanted to fight Joshua. But the fact that Joshua lost to a relatively unknown, you know, it reduces, you know, the attraction to fighting Joshua. Like Babajide said, he has to win the rematch. He definitely has to win it. But from reactions, Deontay Wilder yesterday was like, yeah, now who is afraid? That was his reaction to Joshua losing. Of course, he's always been confident in his abilities. Tyson Fury came out in support of Joshua. Yes, this happens in boxing. But for them, they're like, how are you going to beat us if you can't even beat
journeyman,
someone who is not so known? But then it's boxing.
It's a massive shock.
It was a huge shock.
That business, it has been turned upside down. We are looking at $100 million payday just down in March.
Yes, that may not happen. That may not happen.
GKB, he went home with £20 million.
Yeah.
And the Ruiz guys went home with £5 million. What's the big irony? I thought
it was the negotiated pause before the fight. It has nothing to do whether he wins or loses.
Yes.
It has no bearing with the results. A good boxer signs what he thinks is good for him. There's you see some boxers that will sign for $100 million, and the man they are fighting will get only $5 million.
Yes.
money man.
Even I've seen champions. Look, even when Tyson was already over the hill, downhill, I mean, Tyson was earning much more than champions.
Yeah.
Because he was the famous person. He was the bigger.
It was a draw.
Yes, it was a draw. People wanted to see Tyson in action. So in this case, clearly AJ was the bigger boxer. He was the big boxer that everyone wanted to see. So in terms of negotiation, his own purse will be bigger than that of the person who eventually had to fight him. In any case, those negotiations are done before the fight.
Yes.
So it's not like, oh, if you lose, then you get less. No, that's not the way the thing is structured. Long after Tyson was even out of the top 10, he continued to earn higher than people who are bigger boxers. He continued to earn higher than them. I was surprised. Linus Lewis, who beat Tyson silly. Tyson got more money than Linus Lewis.
Larry is calling us from Abuja. Just seeing this clip today is shocking. Kaduna. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying your program. It's so unfortunate that, yes, from Kaduna. Yeah, how are you? Good evening. Yeah, my name is Larry. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Go on. We are waiting.
Yeah, AJ lost out to this man. For crying out loud, look at the shape of that man. Do you think it could actually beat AJ? But, you know, we shouldn't, yeah, I'm here.
I think because of the delay. Thank you for your efforts. So,
but
finally,
I think his shape shouldn't count. A lot of things count in boxing apart from your physical well-being. Yeah, Tyson Fury had to go back to being, you know, the boss man, the man without the flaps. But his first fight back in boxing after 2 years suspension, he wasn't so, you know, toned in. It has nothing to do with your ability. It's your reach and what to do. He knew where to hit Joshua. Body shots at Joshua usually distract him from the game. And the body shot resulted in him getting one in the dome, which eventually resulted in him hitting the canvas the first time. And that was part of all that happened to Joshua on Saturday night. So for me, I feel it's all in for Joshua to go back. I think it's actually good for him. If you ask me, he was living in this fairy tale world where, you know, he was a prince of boxing.
He was thoroughly beaten.
Everybody looked at Joshua as this
knockout specialist.
Yeah, so
people would not last the distance with him, and then we are saying this. So it is boxing is replete with a history of people who came back from adversity to become great champions. So I still believe that he has the chance to defeat this guy in a rematch. His managers will watch this fight again and again and know
what went wrong.
They will know what went wrong. I still believe that if you look at him closely, you see the injury that I talked about. And some boxing analysts have looked at that injury around his nose. So I still believe there are many things that we don't see. When Obisa Nwankpa lost the world title,
WBC.
you know, yes, here in Lagos, on the day of the fight, he was overweight.
Had to go and run.
And he had to go and run round. You had to walk out at the National Stadium, run round for him to lose weight on the day you were meant to fight. By the time he fought the American, he was already exhausted. But people at home will not know. You just saw an Obisa who didn't bring his A game. And that was what happened. He was overweight on the day of the fight. So many things happen that we don't see. I think this guy was not prepared for this match.
I want to thank you, GKB. Thank you for coming on the show. And Delictable Chidebe. Chidebe.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And the master himself, Baba Jide Koladio Titoju.
Thanks.
And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program, and also watch Journalists Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.